Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to our amazing viewers to another episode of
Market on the Wall podcast.
All right. Okay, guys. So we're here and we're ready to talk about our topic today, which is on languages. Language, your language when you're coming to a new country. But before we jump into the topic,
we got something here. We're back again with this. Okay, ladies. We have our special drink today. So this is hot cocoa. Can you guys see that? Can you get that?
You mean I get it?
So anyways, this is a chili hot chocolate. Okay, chocolate. And the origin of this chocolate, can you guess where it's from? It's from Ghana. Yes, the Gold Coast. So let's try it and see how it is. Smooth, nice and warm.
With the kick.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, chili.
And
it hits the back of your throat where, you have the taste buds for that.
Yeah. Right. It's not too sweet. Like if you're a lover of chocolate and you want rich chocolatiness, it's good.
This is good.
If you're like a sugar person.
I'm gonna put mine down back here.
So it's good. It's tasty.
So Diane, can you open us up, or Coco, with our conversation? So languages.
No, Mamle, go ahead.
Now that put me on the spot, we are not doing that.
Okay. All right.
It's okay.
Guys, I'm so sorry. Okay, so we're talking about languages here. Okay, when you first move to a new country, most likely the country that you're moving to might be an English-speaking country. So we're gonna use our country as an example. But like, if for example you're someone moving to France or you're moving to the Netherlands or things like that,
Germany,
right? Like your situation might vary, but hopefully the principles still will carry with you.
Exactly.
So when you're coming to another country, you usually speak a different country, right? You usually grew up speaking a different country. So now, when you come to a new country, what are the reasons why some people continue speaking their language or stop speaking their language?
Exactly.
All right.
So when it comes to moving from a different place and then having, and for some people too, when they move, they can either be bilingual or multilingual, right? So we're going to use America, right? So if they come to America, which is an English-speaking country, they will most likely understand English and can speak it. But then they would also have their language that they're fluent in from their native country. And if it's the parent, usually they'll say to the child, whether they're going to school or it's a teenager or a young adult going to work, they'll encourage the person to speak their native tongue only at home, and then speak English when they go to school or work. And some people even feel like, no, don't even speak your native tongue at home. Just speak English at home, just to kind of, in a sense, I don't know if this is the right word, like eradicate their native tongue so that the person may not have like an accent.
Well,
right?
When I think about that and you're saying like the word eradicate, do you really think that most people are like, hey, we never want to remember any remnants of our culture?
No, not at all. I think it's more so them trying to make sure that they fit in and get ahead so that they are not held behind or left behind, so to speak. Because if you're going to a new place, learning a new language, it could be difficult. And your brain could always be wanting to default back to what you're used to. So it could take so much time and a lot of effort. So sometimes they may say, you know what, I'm not going to speak that native tongue because I want to put forth all this extra effort into learning the new language. So it could just be that's one of the obstacles. And it's like them going cold turkey, so to speak.
Right.
And I feel like I want to talk about my experience. You guys know that our viewers that we are American-born citizens, but our parents are immigrants. So when we were younger, we lived in Ghana for a little bit, and then we obviously came back. When we came back, we weren't really encouraged to speak our native tongue. We were encouraged to speak more English, right? and I know I had an accent. So is that something that you as our viewers can
relate to?
Is it something that you went through? Do you know others who went through it? Let us know, and let's have a conversation about that.
Right. And so I think it's an internal struggle that the individual who's coming here has, but then we can put another caveat into the situation and talk about, okay, when you have a family, so when you have a spouse or you have children, and there's other elements that are in the situation, right? It's not just you now, right? It's not just you, but maybe you are raising kids, you have a spouse, you want to think of that, adding your language, which is a little bit part of your cultural identity, to your household, right? So now we think about, okay, why don't you teach your spouse or your children this language, right? I know for certain, like if we even use our situation, like both, all three of us, but I would say actually Mamle, because she was younger when we came back, it was easier for her. But Dede and I, we definitely had thick accents. We spoke English, but we had thick accents. And one thing was that our father wasn't really fond of the accents. And I think it's because of maybe the experiences he went through, right? So this is maybe another reason why some people don't want to speak their language. Looking like an outcast, right? When people hear accents, for some funny reason, people think that, oh, you're not as intelligent, right? This
That is a big problem.
makes you look like you are less knowledgeable on something. And it's like, no, it means I speak several languages, right? But other people don't see that. You know, have you ever seen the situation where people would be like,
For sure.
Oh,
hello,
like
are
they start
you
speaking
okay?
slowly.
Honestly, let me put this out there. I think anyone that does that is very ignorant, because the more languages you know, to me, you're smarter, because you're utilizing more of your brain capacity. And especially when it comes to children, I would say never hold back a child from learning another language, because their brain is still developing and it's more agile and they're able to learn and pick things up quicker. So I would say, like, there's so many articles out there that talks about like benefits of learning a second language at an early age. Let me even give you a few of these, and I could put the link down below to the article. Some of the benefits to learning another language at an early age is improved memory skills.
Very
Another
true.
one is greater understanding of other cultures, of
Yes.
course. Improved listening skills. They have confidence to learn more languages later on. Stronger vocabulary, it improves social skills. The list goes on and on and on. So to me, there's only benefits from learning a language as a young child. And I don't see any negatives at all whatsoever.
I love that.
They might mix up a couple of words, but who doesn't make mistakes here and there?
And there's an experience that I have too with my children, me and my husband. When we had our first child, we were like, yeah, we're going to definitely teach him Tree. We're going to teach him. He's going to speak it. We were speaking it. Now, Tree is not a language that I'm super comfortable with. So obviously, as a mom, trying to relate to her child, you speak the language of your heart. So I would try my best, but of course, matters of the heart would be in English. And as each child came, we kept doing that. But me being the mom and being the for caregiver for the child, of course, the children, so I spoke more English. So my children ended up, and you guys know this, they ended up forgetting a lot of Tree, but they do remember some things. But it's never too late to instill the native tongue to your children. So that's something that I've experienced, and I know a lot of other people do experience that too.
Right. And, some people, just thinking on the reasons why they may not speak it, some people may feel like, okay, well, I'm not going to get opportunities, right? This is even linking with like discrimination. You feel like I'm going to be discriminated against because I'm not a strong speaker in this language. Or sometimes you're a strong speaker, you just have an accent, And so some people really would stop these things, just stop learning a language just because of these things. And honestly, to put that to bed, like, never stop. Like, if you know something or you're passionate about learning another language, jump for it.
Right.
There's so many advantages of it, and we're gonna, like, Mamle spoke about it. Like, there's so many advantages of it, But then we're going to also talk about like other reasons why some people still hold on to it. Like I absolutely love it when I meet families, whether they're Indian, whether they're Spanish, whether they're African, European, and you go to their house and like everyone's speaking their language. Like sometimes you might feel uncomfortable because you're like, wait, what are they talking about? And that's the person who doesn't speak their language. That's their problem to hold.
Right.
But sometimes you feel like, oh, I want to include you. But like there's so many benefits to doing so. And so what are some of those?
I alluded to one, holding on to culture, and that's really important to make sure that your family really understands the culture, because especially when it comes to language and culture, they go hand in hand. Explaining something in English versus your native tongue is going to be completely different, and it helps bring out the culture in the way that the word is described in your own native tongue. So that's just one aspect of it.
Yeah, and something that I can think of is also being someone valuable, being an asset to maybe your place of employment. Of course, the U.S. is a melting pot. There are people here from all over the world. So if you're able to speak Spanish, Mandarin, Cantonese, Russian, I don't know, you know, any language, you're an asset to someone coming from, to be able to help someone who just migrated here. So, yeah.
Yeah. And so also, one thing that I like that no one has mentioned so far is the ability to communicate with privacy.
It's key.
Yeah.
It's key.
Like,
Yeah.
you've been out where like we all speak English and like a mom is like, hey, and you better act up. I mean, don't act up because when we get home, you're like, imagine you can say that in your
Jaisa,
language.
mebu.
You know.
Right. Or even when we went to the football game recently and we were talking about someone because of the treatment we were getting, which wasn't the best, but we were just making sure we were all on the same page about how we felt. So that's also another benefit, just to do a little sanity check
Right, like,
about a person without them knowing.
But ladies, with that said, don't be too sure of yourself, because these days there are people who don't look like you that understand your language.
It's true, but it's
Don't
good
make that
because
mistake.
actually that person needed to get themselves checked. But it's okay.
Right, under that circumstance.
Can you imagine you're somewhere, you're just speaking tree, and there's someone who is,
You didn't even expect to know.
You know,
the language.
exactly.
It happens.
and they're like, "Mitije ukayeno." Hey.
Right. Yeah. Entonces, para ellos, or how do you say
Ellos, sí.
Sí.
Nosotros.
See, we're doing this on the spot. Queremos entendemos español. Listen, we're trying, okay, guys. But what I'm trying to say is, you know, one thing is a lot of people are really shy about like sounding stupid.
That's
For me,
another thing. Like when
Me
you
gusta la idioma.
see.
Oh my gosh, mucho. Entonces, I'm gonna look stupid, but I'm gonna try. I'm
And
gonna
everyone.
So
she
you
meets-
you guys hearing us who are Spanish speaking, you know, correct us.
Yeah, and Hindi too. Don't, you know what I'm saying?
Namaste.
Aapke se hai, mere naam Jennifer hai.
Mere naam Mamle hai.
Miranam Dede.
See, like, listen, and honestly,
And listen, I didn't even know that. I'm just picking it up from them.
right. But honestly, I think it also endears you to others. Like when I think a lot of people even are surprised with me, like even in different
love
social
it.
settings. And they're like, oh, you
love
speak
it.
another language. You know,
They love it.
look at you differently. And it makes people, you know, want to communicate with you. And how did you learn that? You know, tell me about yourself. It makes you more unique. So wherever you are in the world, like hold on to your language. But it's also good to, I guess, learn the language of the land that you're living in as well.
Absolutely.
Because you want to be able to navigate their systems, understand things that they're saying, but it's a fine balance.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say forget everything you've grown up with and then pick up something new, or like stick only to what you know and don't learn other stuff. Like it has to be.
Yeah, and as you're talking, I'm just thinking like it's actually something whereby in today's day and age, a lot of children, even like being raised in your country, they're not really speaking the tongue of where they're from, their native tongue. They're actually speaking the foreign tongue. You know, like in Ghana, a lot of children just speak English. They don't understand Tree. They don't understand Dangbe, Gan, Frafra, Hausa, whatever. They just speak English, especially if they're in the city, if they're in Accra. They're just speaking more English. And it's something that we're seeing. But no, let's not do that. Let's continue teaching. Because I feel like Dangbe is going to be not eradicated, but it's like slowly just
it's going to be so rare to hear it. Yeah, so the language that our mother and that side of the family speaks is called Dangme, and most people don't speak it. And so even growing up, when I used to hear people speak it, I'm like,
wow,
you're related to us? Are you our family? Because it's only our family who speaks it.
So we have a lot to do then with our children. We need to do better. Yeah.
And so let's open this discussion up to you guys. Have you migrated to another place, another country that speaks a different language from what you've been raised with? What have you done with your language? Are you still speaking it? Are you married to someone of a different culture? Are you teaching them your language? Are you shying away from it? What are you doing? How are you embracing the language of your new country that you're in as well? Comment. Let's open up this discussion so we can talk about it.
What else should they do besides commenting?
Subscribe and like the video, please, and thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for joining our discussion.
See you in another video of Market on the Wall podcast.